Hello and welcome to the next Word tutorial video, and on this topic we're going to be covering more on advanced searching. If you haven't already done so, please go back and watch the previous video on basic searching. And in this video here we're going to start covering the advanced searching. Advanced searching is also going to be split up into two different videos. So let's go ahead and get started with this. The first thing you're going to notice is I just have a simple view open here. On the left I have my Greek Bible, and I'm using the Textus Receptus Interlinear. And on the right I have an English Bible. I am using the King James Version plus Tense Voice Mood Bible, which is abbreviated KJV plus TVM. And on the bottom I have a dictionary view open for my lexicons. You're going to want to have a screen similar to this in order to do searching. And as I mentioned before in previous videos, in order to do any kind of effective searching on Strong's numbers or on any kind of morphology, you're going to have a tagged Bible. And again, as I previously mentioned, the only English tagged Bible in the Word that is free is the King James Version. You have the regular King James Version, and you have a King James Version plus Tense Voice Mood. And I'm using the Tense Voice Mood for a specific reason. So the first thing we want to do is we want to navigate to whatever passage we're going to be studying. And just for the sake of simplicity, you see that I have John chapter 1 open. And we're going to come down here to verse 4, and we're just going to start looking at something. The first thing I want to do is I want to find a good verb. So we're going to look at our English Bible first. And we're going to look at this word that's translated here as comprehend. Now, before you get started, you want to go to your Bible view options in both of these and make sure that your Strong's, you see Strong's, their numbers, they're checked, and your morphologies are turned on. So both of those are turned on, so I don't have to worry about that. Obviously, you can see it's turned on here on my King James Bible. But you do need to make sure that those are turned on in order for this to be effective for you when you begin to search. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this word comprehend, and I want to find out a little bit more about the word comprehend. So what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to hover my mouse over it. I've got it set to pop up here. So I see here the definition from Thayer's. And again, if I push the shift key, hold down the shift key, and come over to this window, I can then scroll and read this all the way down. Well, that's fine. It gives me a basic definition, but what if I want to learn more about what exactly this word has to do in this passage? In other words, what's the force behind this verb? And this is where the morphology searches begin to help you out. Greek has what is called a tense, voice, and mood. And basically it explains the force behind a verb and how it impacts the text. And on your KJV tense, voice, mood, you'll see a Strong's number, which is G2638, in this case here in our word. And then you'll see a little number in brackets, which is G5627. Now you'll notice that if I put my mouse over this, nothing pops up. Okay, and that's because this is connected with this dictionary called TVM, which is the Tense Voice Mood Dictionary. Now, if you download the KJV plus TVM, you should automatically get this with that package, and that can be downloaded at wordmodules.com. Just go to wordmodules.com and search for King James, and it should pop up on the list there. So we're going to click on this, and we're going to get a little more information about the morphology. So as you can see here, G5627 has come up. Now I learned from this that this is a second aorist active indicative verb. Okay, what does all that mean? Well, simply put, each of these verbs are coded. So you see here G5780, G5784, and G5791, and they're all corresponding with their different aspectual force. So you want to find out more about what this is, but you notice that these are links here. But unfortunately, if you click, nothing happens, which it's okay, because there's a couple of different ways to get around this. Now suppose I want to find out what exactly does an aorist mean? Well, I can go up here and just type this, G5780, hit enter, and then this tells you what the aorist means. Okay, the second aorist tense is identical in meaning and translation to the normal or first aorist tense. The only difference is in the form of spelling the words in Greek, and there is no effect upon English translation. Okay, well great. Well, that didn't help me at all, right? If you don't know Greek. So what you need to do is they have a note down here that says C aorist 5777. So I'm going to backspace here, and I'm going to type 5777 and hit enter. This is a little bit more detailed, and it tells you exactly what the aorist is. It says the aorist tense is characterized by its emphasis on punctiliar action. Punctiliar just basically meaning that the action happened. Okay, that is, the concept of the verb is considered without regard for past, present, or future time. So now I want to go back again. Okay, I've got the aorist. Now I want to find out what else we can do with this. Now we're going to look up the active. So that's 5784. By the way, you don't have to type it in every time. A shortcut to doing this would just be to hold your mouse over that, right click, and go to the lookup menu, and then come down to TVM and click it. And then it tells you what the active voice is. The active voice represents the subject as the doer or performer of the action. You need to get back quick, just hit this green arrow, and it'll take you back to where you were. Now you want to find out what indicative is. Same thing. Hover, right click, look up, go to TVM, and it tells you that the indicative mood is a simple statement of fact. If an action really occurs or has occurred or will occur, it will be rendered in the indicative mood. So that's one verb, and again, we're just kind of flying through this here. Okay, we're not trying to do an in-depth study on aorist active indicative. I'm just kind of showing you an example of how to use this. But let's say I want to actually look up second aorist active indicative in the Bible and see how it's used throughout the text. Now, in order to do that, you're going to have a Greek text. And again, I've got my Textus Receptus Interlinear open here. So we're here at verse 4. I'm going to go ahead, and I know the Greek number is G2638. Now I don't need it, but if you need it, here's the word that we're going to be, here's the word that we're going to be looking at right here, katalabin. That's the actual word comprehend over here. This is only giving you the lemma of the word, which is katalambano. But if you absolutely need it, I would come over to your interlinear, and again, just hit the I key, and there you go. It will be set up for you so you can find the English word very easy. And here's our English word, katalabin, apprehended, or comprehended, which would be the same thing. And what you can do is you can right click on that word. Then you have a bunch of different options here. You can actually find this form, katalabin, in the Textus Receptus. You can find the Strong's number in the Textus Receptus. You can find this morph, which is, you can see the morph here, verb, second aorist active indicative, third person singular. Or you can find the lemma. Now we're interested to see how this morph is used. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here, I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to click it. And as you can see, my Bible view is opening up automatically, and we're getting a lot of hits. So we got 1,174 verses total in the entire Textus Receptus. And again, from the last video, we can maximize our window here, and if you want to see the actual text, you can do that. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind, I believe I did mention this in the video, if you want the interlinear to show up in your search, in other words, you don't read Greek very well, then you need to have the interlinear already turned on. Otherwise, it will not show up in your search results. So this just makes it a little bit easier to scroll through. I don't know how many people are going to have the patience to scroll through 1,000 verses or so. But this is just kind of give you an idea of what you can do. When you right-click on a word, you have several different options. So we just want to right-click on that again, and we can see, we can find the lemma, or we can do this particular morph here, the second aorist active indicative. Now, suppose we want to narrow that verb to a specific, let's say a specific book. Well, then you would simply come back over to your search, like we learned in the last video. Then you would come under detailed, and you would change all of your defaults here. You can select a Bible to search. Remember, the whole words, you want the whole words checked, which really doesn't make too much of a difference if you're selecting a morph to search. Here's our search window down here. It tells us what we're going to be searching. And your search range, here you got define a custom range. And in the next video, we're going to set up more about how to do a custom range. But for the time being, you could simply search the Gospels and Acts. You can simply search. Let's go with Paul's epistles. So we got Paul's epistles, and actually, I'll tell you what. I'll go with Johannine writings, New Testament. Okay, since we're in the book of John. And we'll see how many times a second aorist active indicative third person singular comes up. So just hit this little green arrow, and our results will populate here. 253 matches. That's a little bit more manageable than 1,100. And as you can see, it's giving us a second aorist active indicative for every single second aorist active indicative here. Now suppose you just want to do a search on this word in a second aorist active indicative. Suppose you just want catalambano in the second aorist active indicative, or suppose you want another verb just in the imperative. You want to find all the imperatives of the word love in John's writings. Well, you can do that, but we're not going to get to that in this video. We are going to save that for the next video, and we're going to look more how that is done. So that's it for this part of searching, and I know I call it advanced searching, and it actually doesn't seem that advanced, but it is a little bit more advanced than doing a basic search. So you got different options. Remember, you can right click any word and it will give you the options. You can even right click your codes, your morphology codes, and you can search for them. All you do is just right click it, go to your lookup menu, and you can find out where you can look this up in. It'll give you a bunch of different options. So that's it for this part of advanced searching. Hope again that this helps you out while you're using the Word Bible software, and hope you get a lot out of it. Thanks for watching, and make sure that you watch our next video. Thanks.